And it was July the 26th, 1990, about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I was just basically walking across the downs to look at the crop circle from the hill. And I saw this glint out the corner of my eye. I thought, what's that? And I picked up the camera just automatically and started filming it. And there was this bright object which was actually moving across the heads of the crop. And it arced round and then dropped into the crop. And it was glinting and flashing, and then it suddenly moved. And this was all on film. I was filming this. Could people make these formations in the middle of the night with the hours of darkness only about 4 hours before it gets light without getting spotted? If people make them all, then you have to explain why the balls of light. You know, why do people have these experiences? I think the door's open to believe it if you wish that they're all man-made, which is the easy option. The more difficult option is they're not man-made, and it's something else that we don't understand.
I mean, I think, in my personal belief, that most of these formations are real. When I see them, I am absolutely amazed by them. What do you think?
Well, I have a slightly different view. I think that we are also having at the moment, we see a lot of man-made formations, but still, for me, this is not so important because I think there are still genuine crop circles and good ones, you know, nice-looking ones and big ones, and so I have to say I do not spend too much with the man-made theory.
The foundation has been laid for the determination that there is such a thing as a crop circle phenomenon. There is no doubt that humans make crop circles, and to some extent very good crop circles. But that doesn't play a role in crop circle research.
And not because it looked crooked, but simply it did not have the feeling of what we wanted to do.
I investigate the crop circles phenomenon because I believe that there is a connection between crop circles and the UFO phenomenon. I believe that they are messages from an alien intelligence.
There are again and again crop circles that contain clear messages. For example, the crop circles of Chilbolton, which were an unmistakable answer to the message that we sent into outer space via the Arecibo radio telescope in 1974. It was something of a greeting card from the Earth, upon which details about ourselves were given. The decimal system, our solar system, where the message is from, what we look like, our population, information about our composition, our DNA. And in 2001, there was a crop circle that took up this pattern exactly, but transposed and translated it into an answer. So we have the same decimal system, but we have a different DNA composition. There it's in the form of a triple helix, whereas it's a double helix for us. We have a perception of a physical structure of that which gives us the answers. We have a different population, a differently represented solar system, and we also have another form of the unit of communication, which we have expressed as the Arecibo transmitter. It was portrayed as a crop circle that was discovered a year before in the same field.
That is a clear and direct message. It's not a question of interpretation, only of translation. I'm very fascinated myself. And a year later, in 2002, this form appeared with a disc, which also contained a binary code. These two figures give me the impression that somebody wants to communicate with us.
Me demostraron a mí que había intención de comunicación.
Not in professional connection with the crop circle connector, at least not as okay. Well, maybe he's a nutter. He looks pretty weird. But anyway.
Can we ask you a question?
Yeah, of course. Like in an unwork-related capacity. So I have to hide the microphone.
So what are you going to report this afternoon?
I'm just going to report the truth, what people tell me. I'm not really going to have an opinion. I'm going to say I went to the crop circles, I saw them, and then I'll have the voices of the people I've interviewed and the photos we took, and then people can make up their own mind. But we'll tell people where they are, and if they want to come down and see them, they can.
Are you going to play in some alien music? And
that is not my decision, but I wouldn't be surprised if the theme of X-Files or something was in there. But yeah, obviously this is, you know, in the news, we've got serious things all over the country, all over the world going on. This is going to be one of the lighter stories.
What if this is not just some light story, but some very important story for mankind?
Well, if that is the case, I'm very proud to have been here for this particular incident, and I keep a really open mind. If my boss tells me to go to a crop circle again, I'll definitely go. I love them. They're fascinating. And I like the people you meet, and I like, you know, I just think it's cool. You know, I think anyone would find this stuff cool.
What do you think a journalist like you could do to shift this to a more serious level?
That's a loaded question. I don't know. I mean, I think it's hard because, of course, in people's daily lives on a daily basis at the moment, there are so many hard things going on, like the credit crunch, for example, in the UK, or the cost of living. And with important things like that, it's hard for people to worry or think about other stuff because there's so much else going on in their life.
What do people want? Fundamentally, they want to survive. What does that mean? Please make tomorrow the same as today. The real response is to trivialize the phenomenon, to make it go away. Humans are very good at looking the other way, like babies.
People have always been familiar with fields, especially in rural areas. They knew what it looks like when a deer had run through a field or when the wind had blown sections down, and then patterns apparently appeared again and again, which didn't correspond to those characteristics. And in order to understand them, to describe them, they were turned into a mystery. The public interest has only become aware in the last 30 years, but we can trace the phenomenon much further back. The first documents are from the year 1590 and describe crop circles in the context of witch trials in Lorraine. And above and beyond that, we find descriptions of what we call crop circles today in fairy tales and in the lore of cultures around the world. You can see this already in the example of the mowing devil. It's a leaflet from the year 1678. The story of a poor peasant labourer is told who demands a higher wage from the rich landowner to harvest a field. The landowner responds that maybe he should let the devil do it, and that night the field was observed to be in what appeared to be flames. It glowed. The next morning, the landowner found his field in the same condition as the devil would have mown it. Circles had been laid. According to the report, every stalk lay so exactly next to the other that it would have taken a human a lifetime, but only a night for the devil. And that's nothing different from what we're doing today, by projecting our wildest imagination of what could be responsible for the circles into them. And the devil of then is, of course, the aliens of today. The brothers Grimm even described crop circle phenomena back then. They were called fairy rings then. Many people camped out on the field, awoke in the night and hoped that something would happen, but were then driven away by heavy thunderstorms and the appearance of lights. And then swans flew down and shed their feathers. This means that the picture they used could possibly correspond to the light phenomenon which we observe today.